I chain smoke and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
On November 16, 2021, Robert Kennedy Jr. put out a new book called The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health. The book's about 27 hours long. I have about 2 hours left on it, but it's very telling, and it goes into the HIV story in depth. You could probably watch my HIV playlist with the volume down while you listen to the book, and it would match up, kind of like Wizard of Oz in The Wall. I'm only exaggerating a little bit. I was impressed. Even though I'm not done with it, I heard this yesterday, and I wanted to share it, because I have done a couple of videos about it. One was called Fauci's Guinea Pigs, and the other was called Incarnation Children's Center. But I wanted to add a little more to it.
Vera Sharav spent years investigating Dr. Fauci's torture chambers as part of her lifelong mission to end cruel medical experimentation on children. Sharav told me Fauci just brushed all those dead babies under the rug. They were collateral damage in his career ambitions. They were throwaway children. Sharav said that at least 80 children died in Dr. Fauci's Manhattan concentration camp and accused NIAID and its partners of disposing of children's remains in mass graves. BBC's heartbreaking 2004 documentary, Guinea Pig Kids, chronicles the savage barbarity of Dr. Fauci's science projects from the perspective of the affected children. That year, BBC hired investigative reporter Celia Farber to conduct field research for the film, which exposes the dark underside of Big Pharma's stampede to develop lucrative new AIDS remedies. I found the mass grave at Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Hawthorne, New York, she told me. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a very large pit with astroturf thrown over it, which you could actually lift up. Under it, one could see dozens of plain wooden coffins, haphazardly stacked. There may have been 100 of them. I learned that there was more than one child's body in each. Around the pit was a semicircle of several large tombstones on which upward of 1,000 children's names had been engraved. I wrote down every name. I'm still wondering who the rest of those kids were. As far as I know, nobody has ever asked Dr. Fauci that haunting question. I remember the teddy bears and hearts in piles around the pit, and I recall the flies buzzing around. The job of recording all those names took all day. NIAID, New York, and all the hospital PIs were stonewalling us. We couldn't get any accurate estimate of the number of children who died in the NIAID experiments or who they were. I went to check the gravestone names against death certificates at the NYC Department of Health, which you could still do at that time. BBC wanted to match these coffins to the names of children who were known to have been at ICC. It was a very slow Byzantine project with tremendous institutional resistance, but we did turn up a few names.
I found the mass grave. The picture behind me, I found a virtual tour of the cemetery, Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Hawthorne, New York. And I looked around for a while until I found the mass grave. Section 45, X marks the spot.
Well, it is shocking that in New York City, experimental drug treatments are being used on children who are in foster care.
Even senior politicians in the city have found it impossible to get information about the trials. Bill Perkins is Deputy Majority Leader on New York City Council.
We do know that several have passed away during the course of these experiments, and we know that there are still some involved. And there's been somewhat of a secrecy about the whole matter, I must say. It has not been easy to get through the bureaucracy as to exactly what this is all about.
In a mass grave owned by the Roman Catholic Church close to Manhattan, over 1,000 children's bodies, including some who were enrolled in the trials, lie beneath a tarpaulin. Officially, their deaths are recorded only as resulting from natural causes. For months, we tried to get answers from those behind the trials. From Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, where many of the tests were devised. From Incarnation Children's Center, from the Catholic Church. And from the ACS, the authority ultimately responsible. None would comment. The drug companies which have supported trials at Incarnation include some of the world's largest.
Pfizer.
Fucking stoned.
I got